there's a lot of negativity that goes to envy, but I think it can be used as a driving force. It just depends on how you use it as a driving force. If you had a scale of envy to admiration, where would you put competition? Right. We're all humans, right? Because envy is the part where you say, well, if they can do it, I can do it.
I think it's how far you take that, like what you do with all the information you got from that. It's what they fed you on in the 50s and 60s. Envy's more that greedy side. Envy's more where the greed and the lust comes out. Wow, they're capable of that. I'm capable of greed.
Right. And even just think about like reality television. Put the time and effort in at the same as well that you can actually achieve the same. Basically, until you get to like that highest earning point, that you're not even focused on like how you're gonna like help your society. We all have similar capabilities in terms of human intellect and in terms of like skill person. What do you guys think of the word envy?
I think there's a lot of negativity that goes to envy, but I think it can be used as a driving force. It just depends on how you use it as a driving force. If you choose to use it as a good or an evil thing, right? Like how you go about doing it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like the second side of a coin, though. Like envy's like one of the 7 deadly sins. It's like that's where I feel like admiration is almost the opposite end of that. Like admiration is to me, the good form of envy. You admire somebody, you don't envy them. You don't want to take from them what they have so you can have it. You just want the same thing for yourself. You admire them.
I can understand that. And I think it's really funny because like watching like Full Metal Alchemist, they have like envy as a character and envy as like one of like the bad people. But like I'm starting to learn like more about like pieces of like envy and like how like the homunculus and everything, just like in general. But like I'm with both of you guys that like envy's always looked at as like a bad thing, that like, oh, you shouldn't be envious of others, you should be thankful for what you have, and you should be focused on like what you control, focused on like what you can have and what you can achieve. But and I think and kind of like an example that I want to talk about is like just like in general, seeing our friends or seeing our peers, seeing people that we know, seeing people that we recognize, look, even like celebrities in general, just like looking at the lifestyle that they live, looking at the possessions that they have, looking at like the drama that they go through because of how involved in different facets and everything that they have going on, where it's given it such a negative connotation.
I think it's how far you take that, like what you do with all the information you got from that. Like to envy them is just to like, I feel to let all the stuff that they have and all the things that they have that you don't have consume you. You know what I mean? And that's where that's dangerous. You can let it fuel you. I feel like that's a little bit better of a route. And it's like how you handle all that information, but you could take it as like, oh, they have all that stuff and I wish I had all that stuff for myself. Why don't I have all that stuff? They're just terrible people. And you have to put people down because like that's one of the dangers that I think comes from envy, is like people can put other people down because of their jealousy towards them, because they just don't have what they have and they need to put them in their place in their mind. So they have to put them down a notch.
And even just think about like reality television, like how much of a stranglehold it has on our society. Just putting these people on like in the light for people to see.
The model citizen, the model earthling.
Yeah, like something along those lines, or like this person is successful in terms of they have the money and they have the power and the freedom, and you want to be like this person that's
not only
going
that,
through
but
like their
they tell us
divorce.
They tell us what the symbol of success is, right? They show us the things that we should be like envious of.
It's the American dream. It's what they fed you on in the 50s and 60s. You want the little house with the picket fence, with the perfect little family, with the 2 kids. And like, if someone had that, you were envious of it. You know, you wanted that for yourself. And then so many people chased that dream and got it and still weren't happy. You know what I mean? Because it was like they were forced that by the media, like this is something you want to pursue.
where would you rank competition? I guess if you had a scale of envy to admiration, where would you put competition on that scale? Because it's somewhere in the middle, right?
I think it would be dead in the middle.
Depends how you look at competition. Because back in the day, I would say
I feel like it can swing probably both ways, right? It's probably averagely in the middle, but it can probably swing both ways.
It's who you're competing with.
Yeah.
Because like I've learned that like in my experience, competing with other people is not the best way to do well. It's competing with yourself. At the end of the day, yes, you're going against other people, but you're never going to do better than you can do. And so you just have to go against yourself every single time.
But what if it's like a friendly competition?
Yeah. What if it's something that like number one, number two of like X skill that you're always competing, and like you guys are trading off like number one, number two, or like one
look at the three of us.
Even,
we
just
push each other. We drive each other through competition, right?
Right.
Something to that degree.
But we're not in the same lane with what we do. You know what I mean? And the same thing with those other people. And I guess it's different when there's a money and a prize on the line. Your competition actually means something. You know what I mean? Like one of you winning is actually like what concludes the competition. But like in most other senses, I feel like if there's not one prize at the end of the tunnel, then there's no reason to compete with other people. There's no reason to make it a competition and an overbearing and a put down. It's more like just focus.
Does it always have to be a put down though?
Depending.
We're competitive sometimes.
Think about like professional teams, and like it's always like a competition to be like the highest on the depth chart, but even like top 3 and top 5, like you're all a team. Like you all have a job, you all have a duty. We're all here to help each other. We're all here to grow.
Right. Well, how do you get to the top of that faster? By pushing yourself to be better than your teammates, or pushing yourself to be better than you were yesterday?
Pushing yourself to be better than you were yesterday, in my opinion. Like, yes, you do want to try to be better than your teammates, but sometimes it's just there's some factors that like your teammate is just like an absolute monster of an athlete. And unless you like inject creatine, you're just not going to get that mass per se.
And that's what I think is the dangerous side of envy, because you can stifle yourself. You can stop yourself from doing things because you're envious of what other people do. And like that happens with art and everything. When I was getting started into art and I saw something like amazing, I was like, I'm so far away from that. Like I'm so far away from being capable of that. And I've heard it from other people who like do the similar things too. And then you'll stop for a while. You'll quit for a little bit. Like you'll just take a break because it's just like, wow, I have a long ways to go.
Yeah, but why at the same time, why can't you see that and use that to like be like Kev said, your driving force, that like you've seen what people are able to accomplish, and you know
what's possible.
You put the time and effort in as well, that you can actually achieve the same because you have an idea of the time and effort that is needed.
Right. And that's what I do now is to get inspired, I watch other people who do super artistic things because it's, well, wow, they're capable of that. I'm capable of great things.
Right. We're all humans.
Change my mindset. Yeah. You just have to change the mindset.
At the end of the day, we all have similar capabilities in terms of human intellect and in terms of like skill per se, and what resources we have available in order to sharpen said skills. So when someone has put forth like an insane work ethic that has been able to just grind and grind and grind, it's something that you can really admire from that person, that they've been able to put that focus and just continue to grind until they can get to that point where they don't have to grind as hard, or they just continue to grind because it's what they know and it's what their normal is.
that's where I think it's the energy that you put towards it, because it's like you said, if you admire them, that's where I feel like you just appreciate the skills they have at hand. Like you said, you admire their work ethic. You see something so great in it. You know what I mean? But it's like envy, I think, is like, in my eyes, and I guess at least this is how I picture it, is envy is more like the dirty side, where it's like you either try to put them down to get them out of that position, you try to take what they have. Envy's more that greedy side. Envy's more where the greed and the lust comes out, and they can't, if you can't have it, no one can have it, kind of thing. And then an admiration is more, no, that's phenomenal, I'm going to let that motivate, inspire, and fuel me.
See what
that's where I think.
And what I really, I'm sorry, Kev, you should go, and I'll go after you.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
After you.
Thank you.
No problem.
no, after you. I'm not.
No, go ahead.
You going?
No, I'm not doing
After
it.
you.
So what really turned me off about the whole multi-level marketing and everything that I was associated with was like, you had like the highest earning the highest earning people that you always saw like these presentations of like their success, like their giant multi-million-dollar mansions and their charities and everything that they've established and their citation private jets and this and that and everything that they've had a hand in. But you don't really hear about like what like the people that are like a few levels below them have going on, because they don't. And that's the part. And it's like, it's basically until you get to like that highest earning point that you're not even focused on like how you're going to like help your society, how you're going to like contribute to being like a model citizen, and how you're going to like help other people. What you're focused on is growing your team, and not much else than that, because in your opinion, your team deserves your focus. Like, you want to help the team succeed because the team wants to help you succeed.
I 100% agree, and you made something pop in my head. I want to touch back on what Crick said real quick, because yours totally full circles this, and I think there's a healthy balance of envy and admiration, like there is with everything else. Because envy is the part where you say, well, if they can do it, I can do it, because you're bringing them down to your level.
Mm-hmm. And that's
kind of
that's
makes
what,
it go.
That's what they would always say. It's like such and such.
You're not bringing them down to your level. You're
position.
bringing yourself up to
Up
their
to
level.
them.
You just
it
have
goes
to
both
grind,
ways,
Yeah,
right?
both.
just
True.
like
That's true.
they
Yes,
did.
yes.
And you can achieve
like the
like
glass
all
half
of
full,
these
half empty.
amazing
Well,
things.
not only that, but you don't want to put them on like a pedestal, because they're just human too.
True. That's
They're
very true.
just human.
Yeah, you're
They're-
bringing them.
they're
That's
not-
very true.
Yes.
That's true.
And that's where it's all
Okay.
about how you utilize it. And what Smokey's talking about, that's people utilizing admiration for nefarious reasons.
right.
You know?
That's where.
Yeah,
That's
to a
exactly.
degree.
You utilize
Dark side
admiration,
of
to do
admiration.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything has a dark side and everything has a light side. It's just about how you
Right.
use it and how you look at it. And that's crazy to think about with those things, because like you came in and you had your, this is envy and this is admiration, and
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
I,
these
that's,
pictures
I
that
think
are
that's how a
painted.
lot of people
everything,
right,
and I'm just
that's-
like, that
Yeah.
would be awesome to have. But like, I guess like my core values was more of like, I want to help the community, and like I don't want to like not put my focus into like into helping the community while I grow myself if I can't like have a balance.